Hello, everyone.
Hello there.
Often in our conversations, we return to certain issues or subjects, certain principles, and we say these are so important that we tend to repeat them.
Or delve deeper into them.
Yes.
Walk around them.
And I don't think, as such, it is wrong to do that because they form the backbone of the way we live and so on. But there is also a question as to can one live too much with a focus to get a lesson out of everything?
Yeah, to have an examined life.
Yes.
To find a meaning in every little thing, or to learn like you said, to learn a lesson. Is that necessary for a meaningful life?
Yes. So in other words, we tend to take those subjects that are very important and we go deeper and we go deeper and we say, all right, we haven't looked at it from this way.
And we try to live from those principles.
Yes. But aren't we overdoing it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it get boring in the process?
Yeah.
So that is the question, and I think it is good from time to time to step back and to have a look at one's approach.
And almost to be devil's advocate.
Yes.
See where it goes.
A change is as good as a holiday, so let's have a holiday.
Yeah. Which is actually a good place to start.
Yes. Yes.
But I think give that principle of Socrates that put us on the subject, and then we go from there.
Socrates, who said the unexamined life isn't worth living.
Yeah.
And I think he has a point. If you just float through life, nothing really touches you.
Or sticks.
Yes, or clings, or has an impact.
Yeah.
You drift from the one thing to the other.
And I think there'll be very little growth if we go through life without examining things, without really looking at something. Or some behavior that we repeat, all of that. So, yeah.
So in that sense, I can understand where he says, no, but examine your life. Look at your life and see what it teaches you, because we say, where do we learn most of our lessons? In our daily living. And we do that because we examine that life.
Yeah. But then you have to think about people that are not able to examine their lives. People that are maybe mentally challenged. So they're living a life. It's not a life that they can examine. So does that mean they don't have a meaningful life?
Yeah, now we're getting into deep philosophy.
Yeah, but I mean that's a valid point to make.
Yeah.
If Socrates says it's not a meaningful life if you can't examine your
life. Yes. It has that
implication. It has that implication, and that cannot be true.
Yes.
So let's take the other side then, an unexamined life.
No, I don't think that is. If it's a general rule, if you say, I'm going to examine every piece of my life.
Yeah, then you get
it can be in excess.
Too much of a much.
If I say, no, I'm not going to examine anything in my life.
It's again too much of a muchness.
That's right. That's right. So I think in that sense, it is good to have a good balance. I think it is, it's to our advantage to look at our lives, what we can learn out of certain situations and experiences and so on. But there are times when one has to let go and just enjoy something. Freud said sometimes a cigar is just a good smoke.
Yeah.
It's not a symbol of anything or whatever. And I think that applies to our lives as well.
And I think in that sense, if we think about holiday, or when you put yourself in a different scenario where you out of your daily routine with the responsibilities that you have, immediately it becomes an easier going sort of experience. You're not examining or you're not looking at your life like this puzzle that everything needs to
or a
fit
project
in,
almost.
or a project. So immediately those strict rules that you apply to your life falls away, and you are actually living for a while much more much less in control of your life, much less free going, and not so much trying to make the most meaning out of everything that you're doing. So I think that's maybe a good example of living a little bit from an unexamined. I remember as a child, maybe it's completely something different, but as a child, our parents used to read us nighttime stories, bedtime stories, and we had these volumes of red books that I won't mention the name of, with stories about children and their lives and things and decisions that they made. And every single one of those stories had a life lesson.
A moral of the story.
A moral of the story. And I found them so boring and so absolutely not enjoyable. Because a lot of those lessons were things that I already knew.
They were obvious.
They were obvious things. If you and I think that is forcing things. That is, I mean, my parents meant well. They wanted us to live conscientiously and responsibly and know these things. But I think sometimes just a lovely fairy tale would have done the same or a better job, because the lessons, they might be lessons, but they are much less in your face. You don't need to take the story at the end and there's questions that you have to answer.
It's not forced.
And examine the story.
Yeah.
For what happened.
Yeah.
And that was not a way for me to learn anything.
Yeah. But when we look at that quote of Socrates, there's something in that is a little bit, for me personally, it's almost heavy on the ear.
Yeah, and it's very rational.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a head thing, like a mind thing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you take your day, you examine what happened in your day.
Which, when we talk of the prayer of examen.
Yeah, which is what you do. But I think that takes it the step further, which is what I think what we got to in the Afrikaans conversation, is that we would like to change something in that principle, in that quote of Socrates. And that is to change the word examined. The unexamined life is not worth living. And to say the unaware, the unconscious life is not worth living. Yeah. The life of not being...
The life living without awareness.
Without awareness is not worth living. And there we can look at people, and that for me is the beauty of somebody, elderly people that might have dementia, and they might not remember in 10 minutes what happened now, but they're eating something lovely and they're enjoying it in the moment.
Exactly.
So there's awareness, there's consciousness in that moment, and that makes that moment for them worth living.
Yes.
So
we have to say at this point that we in no way experts on Socrates and Socrates' philosophy.
For that matter.
And it might be that is exactly what he had in mind, is that it is a life of awareness.
Of awareness. So we might look at the original word and see if there is a misunderstanding in translating the quote. But we also feel that maybe Socrates, you're never too old to learn.
Yeah, maybe he can learn something at this very late stage in his not life.
Maybe we will be learning something very soon from other people examining this conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think that's a very good a place to end, is to say we would rather, instead of an unexamined, unpuzzled life, instead of that, we would rather say a life without awareness is not a life worth living, because that's true. And then you can be on holiday and you live with awareness and you enjoy this present moment.
And that's what actually happens when you let go of the control.
Exactly.
And the time management and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So Socrates helped us.
I think so, yes.
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 Thank you very much. Always very nice to have the conversations and the feedback that makes us think again and speak again and talk to each other. And we do that again next week.
Keep well, everyone.
Bye-bye.